Welcome to a new daily top Askreddit video. Today's topic: people who stop in the middle of staircases, doorways, and thoroughfares. Why? I once ran into a friend at a market and she stopped me to chat in the middle of the aisle, and when I asked if we should step over off to the side, she responded, "It's fine. They can move." And that really had me thinking there are people who seek to make life easier for others and those who simply do not care if they inconvenience others. She probably left her cart in the lot too busy they pay people to get it. I tend to respond with, if you were take a shit in the middle of the parking lot they pay someone to clean that too. Doesn't mean it is appropriate or acceptable. Some bitch left her cart in the middle of the aisle the other day, and grumbled under her breath about my mom being a Karen for moving her cart so get this people could walk down the aisle. In the eyes of a Karen, everyone else is a Karen. I'd especially like to ask that of people who stop dead after stepping off the top of a busy escalator. Like, where do you expect the people behind you, on a literal conveyor belt, to go? I was on the escalator and saw a group clustered near the end, so I called out good morning. But nobody moved. Then I called out various warnings before plowing into them. One person was mad about it, but one woman said, in their defense, "Mabel, we were standing right here like a bunch of ninnies." One person was mad about it, but one woman said, in their defense, "Mabel, we were standing right here like a bunch of ninnies." Instant forgiveness for that particular ninny. I was in the airport last month, very busy time. Went up the escalator to the food court and there was only one restaurant open with a massive queue, stretching back past the escalator. The family in front of me, with cases, just stopped as they stepped off the top step, to survey the scene. I had to physically push them forward to stop a pile-up, as there were a number of people very close behind me. Cue the whole family tutting and shaking their heads at my rudeness. In the Charlotte airport in the before times, there was a guy standing on the moving walkways, with both hands on the rails to block people from passing him. A whole clot of stressed and irritated people were stuck behind him. I was hustling because my incoming flight was late, so I was moving fast. I starting saying excuse me, when I was several feet away from him, but he didn't move. The clot of people moved to the side though. So I just summoned my inner linebacker, kept moving, and pushed his arm out of the way. Possibly smacked him with my suitcase too, IDK or care. The clot followed in my wake. He started yelling that walkways are for walking. So he understood English, and therefore the multiple signs showing you stand on the right, walk on the left, and his statement shows he wasn't just old or confused. He was a dick. The only time these people move fast is when getting on the bus / train. You know, when you're still trying to get off. A few days ago I got to my bus stop with a few big and heavy bags. As I try to get out, a big group of kids tries to get in. I felt kinda bad, but I think I knocked a few over with my bags. I felt kinda bad. Yeah, don't. Midcycle in an exceedingly busy revolving door downtown. A guy stopped to pick up a penny he noticed on the floor of the revolving door midway through its cycle. Then he became irate when the partition in the revolving door directly behind him whacked the guy hard in his rear. The man started yelling and cursing the people in the queue who were trying to pass through, with no apology for causing the problem in the first place. Great, now I wanna drop coins in revolving doors and hang out to watch the disaster lol. Some people just wanna watch the world burn. I would imagine the kind of person who does that regularly might also be the kind of person who wouldn't be able to recognize that you're describing them. They're also probably the people commenting that they are the ones who move out of the way. Because this question is asking people who are sometimes unaware, why are you sometimes unaware? Everyone can think of the times they moved aside, nobody is thinking of the time someone got angry behind them, because they don't know when it happened. I don't know it happened, but it probably did. This whole thread is talking about a group of chronically oblivious people, as if we haven't all been guilty of this at some point. But to be guilty of it means to be oblivious to it, so how can anyone ever actually answer the question? You'd have just as much luck asking people who have no long-term memory, what was your childhood like? I habitually move out of the way if I need to stop and think. This is due to years of my mother blocking elevator and escalator exits to get her bearings. Her reason is that she never once considered that other people might still be in motion behind her. Lack of consideration for others is the answer to this entire post. It's appalling to me how many people in this life act as if they are the only thing on the planet and everything is about them. Being a Californian, the driving around here makes it very evident. This is why I hate shopping with my mother. She will even get mad at me for being considerate of other people as I try to get out of their way. It literally confounds me how she can be so inconsiderate all the fucking time. Everyone knows that only things in front of you get rendered. Or the shopping cart in the middle of the aisle. Then you glare at me angrily when I push it out of my way. Fuck you. There are others you need to share the space with, you self-centered twit. I moved around an older guy who did that, made sure I didn't accidentally bump into him. As I passed him, he loudly started claiming that I pushed and hit him. I just sort of looked at him blankly, clearly a foot away from him, before I just moved on. I think maybe he was deliberately positioned in an inconvenient place to try and elicit a situation where he could try and get some attention or something. It was quite sad. Looking blankly at someone when they blatantly lie is the best and easiest response. Always deny them the obvious attention and outrage they desire. What's up with people who park their cart in front of the milk case and stare at it for 10 minutes? There are like 4 kinds of milk. Get one. And you probably buy the same one every time you go to the store. It's just not that hard of a decision to make. Now put me in front of the coffee creamers, and all those delicious sounding flavors that I know I'm not going to buy, and I might go a little touristy. Or open the case and then stand there for 10 minutes. It's clear glass, damn it. Step back and make your choices, then open the door. You just fogged up the whole section, you dingbat. Hey, I need to make sure I get the one with the latest expiration date. One of them might be a day later than all the others. I see couples do this all the time when shopping together. One of them will stand behind the cart blocking one side of the aisle and the other will stand to the side of the cart, blocking the other side of the aisle. The main wide aisles that are wide enough that you could get 3 or 4 pallets across down I've seen blocked by 2 people in a shopping cart. We'll just like meander back and forth across the whole aisle side by side a couple feet away from each other, just blocking everything, walking at the slowest pace you've ever seen, oblivious to the person behind them trying to get by and get their job done. Buffering, waiting for the next landscape to load. I lost connection for a moment. They have a lack of situational awareness. I was very surprised when my ex-roommate told me he would do these things because he found inconveniencing strangers entertaining. He loved staying put at green lights to watch people get mad. You knew a sociopath. I used to have a friend just like this. He would intentionally check every pocket for his wallet, and look for change he knew he didn't have, just to deliberately hold up lines. Intentionally sit too long at green lights. Intentionally go too slow on one-lane roads. Haven't been friends with that fuckwad in a while, and shit like that is partly why. I also think there's some sort of threshold reset that happens in the brains of lots of people where they cross a threshold and the whole level has to load before they can make another move. When I was in university, we had a very poorly designed library. 30,000 students, one giant library with a single double-door entrance. It'd be really frustrating in the middle of January, Canada, where you're freezing your nuts off as you all crowd to get into the library, and some baffled-looking student would just pull a deer in the headlights as soon as they hit the threshold. It's the easiest thing to just move aside and then decide where you need to go. But no, I figure some people for whatever dumb reason need the whole level to load before making a decision, so they wait right there in the entrance. Fucking infuriating. This is my mom. As a kid I used to drag her away from the bottom of the escalator. She'd say indignantly, "Well, I have to figure out where I'm going next." It was many years before I realized she's autistic and literally forgets that other people exist. I'm autistic and am acutely aware of other people. I also get irrationally angry when others are inconsiderate. Autism doesn't cause self-centeredness. Same. I think my autism makes me excessively aware of other people. Like if someone wants to talk to me in a crowded area, I first need them to move over to the side of the thoroughfare or somewhere out the way. Otherwise I will just be constantly worrying that I'm in the way and not actually pay attention. Hyperempathy, high empathy, and hypoempathy, low empathy, are both associated with autism. It sounds like you experience hyperempathy. As someone who is low on empathy, practicing consideration takes conscious thought and practice. Without empathy to keep a subconscious tally of the people around me, I have to consciously ask myself what their motivations and needs are in order to act considerately. If I'm distracted and not actively thinking about the people around me, I will act inconsiderately without realizing it. My wife sometimes does stuff like this. It reminds me of my ADHD. Enough commuting by bike and working the line in a restaurant kitchen will cure any lack of positional awareness pretty quick. Behind. Hot. Mum is like this too. Complete lack of situational awareness, crossing pavements in front of people, stopping randomly, blocking supermarket aisles with a trolley. Older women seem to do this so much. It's always the mother of the business owner who's always in the way. Well, I have to figure out where I'm going next. She had the whole escalator ride to figure it out. Or take like 5 steps away from the choke point and assess there.